should keep it cool, babe. Now lose my swag and play the fool, babe. Just play the game and hold on, maybe. But I'm done with the waiting, done with the waiting. I'm done with playing nice. Now look me in the eyes. Tell me, tell me, tell me what you see inside. Not gonna ask you twice. Not looking for your lies. Tell me, do you wanna go? Do you wanna go? Do you wanna go? Do you wanna go? Those who wanna play by the rules end up last with nothing to obtain. So let's level up to remain. 'Cause I'm done with the waiting, done with the waiting. I'm done with playing nice. Now look me in the eyes. Tell me, tell me, tell me what you see inside. Not gonna ask you twice. Not looking for your lies. Tell me, do you wanna go? Do you wanna go? Do you wanna go?
It's an oldie but a goodie.
Another broken plate, another called off date. We never seem to get it right. Another heart attack, words that we can't take back. We are the reason opposites attract. Once you slam the door on the second floor, I regret it all. When I think it through, I can help the way I feel for you. You make me lose my mind like all the time. It still feels right. Stuck in an endless fight like every night. It still feels right. Even the words can sing, I wouldn't change a thing. 'Cause without you everything means nothing. You make me lose my mind like all the time. It still feels right. Sitting there by the phone, hoping you'll answer yours. Baby, let's talk until we're fine. You've been in bed for days, empty without me, you say. Can't you just magically turn up in mine? Then you knock on my door on the second floor, and I feel okay. We just made it through, and I love the way I feel for you. Baby, you make me lose my mind like all the time. It still feels right. Stuck in an endless fight like every night. It still feels right. Even the words can sing, I wouldn't change a thing. 'Cause without you everything means nothing. You make me lose my mind like all the time. It still feels right. Oh yeah, still feels right. 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 Oh yeah. We never get it right, but somehow it feels right. We never get it right, but it still feels right. We never get it right, but somehow it feels right. That's how I feel about you. You make me lose my mind like all the time. It still feels right. Stuck in an endless fight like every night. It still feels right. Even the words can sing, I wouldn't change a thing. 'Cause without you everything means nothing. You make me lose my mind like all the time. It still feels right. Oh yeah, still feels right. 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 Oh yeah. I can't just call you when the moon is rising. I'm craving every moment with you. I can't just need you when the tides are turning. I cherish every second with you. I've got to hold on to your heart every day of the week, every week of the year. I've got to rewind and restart till you get what you need, till you get all of me. Yeah, you get all of me, baby, I give you all of me. Please take what you want from me.
Oh, you were counting it down on me. You were counting it down on me. How are you? Woo!
Oh, I'm
Okay.
thrilled to be here.
I don't know why I didn't think to just bring you up earlier. I was like, it doesn't matter that the overlay's not over the whole thing. It's all good. We got a little dance party, right? That dance party, as my audience knows, is 100% inspired by you. and how you start your show and all that stuff.
I don't know what happened.
You randomly just started dancing. I remember texting you one day and I was like, you do know this is like now part of your brand.
I remember that. I was like, whoops.
So fun. Well, we've got all kinds of great people here. We've got Kevin McAleer here, who you know Kevin, of course. And we've got CK, of course. So many people that actually are in my world, honestly, thanks to you and because of the long, wonderful year that we've been on doing a lot of fun things together. In fact, did you know that it was December 6th? That was the first time I was ever on your show. So we're almost at a year anniversary of that. Yes.
Oh, we have to do something to celebrate.
I know. I literally was thinking about that because it's really been, I know we've talked about this and you know, there's so many times that I talk about what's going on and just my journey of streaming and my business and my entrepreneurship journey and the connections I've made. I have so many people to thank for that. And of course, you are a huge piece of the journey, not only from being my mentor and somebody who I admired kind of from afar, really, and then becoming friends, and we get to do lots of fun things together. We've done some shows together, and, you know, it's just, we have a lot of exciting things, and I really do think that 2022 is going to be just even more exciting. But I really had to say that to kick things off, that I feel like this is a weird day because it literally is like, so much of my style is because of what I've learned from you and how I've added things and enhanced my streams as I've gone on, which of course my audience learns from me in turn. And it's kind of like, I've been so inspired by you and what you've done with all of your stuff that it's like, what do you know? So
it's really cool when you think about how things really connect and evolve. And, you know, it is the truth of the matter, right? People learn. And then they add their own style and their own magic to it. And that's one of the constant conversations I'm having with my students is, you know, learn from me, do copy whatever. But then once you understand what's working and what's not, like you've got to add your own magic on top of it, because that's where the results actually come from, is your side of things, right? You can learn all the tech and you can learn all of the strategy that I teach, but it won't work as well for you as it does for me if you don't add you to it. So I love how you do that, and you really take it to the next level for your personality and for your audience.
Yeah, no, and I love that you said that because it's really interesting. And I don't know that I don't know if I've ever shared this with you directly, but you know, I think that I think everyone who is creating content, whether it be for a hobby or whether it be for a business or even trying to do anything, putting themselves out there, right? We have so many ways we can do that. We have social media. We can do Instagram stuff. We can do Facebook stuff. We can do YouTube stuff. We can do live video, which we're going to be talking about the impact of that. But it always comes with this, like, every entrepreneur deals with some element, some layer of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And I hate that phrase, by the way. Somebody needs to come up with a different phrase.
There's a movement against it right now, it seems.
Yeah. I don't love the phrase. Really what it is not that you feel like an imposter. It's honestly, it's that you feel like you're not ready or that you're not good enough just yet, or, that person's doing it. Yeah, it's more about comparison, right? And for me, I remember loving live video, loving to teach live video. I used to teach live video in some workshops and some things like that, but I never was comfortable going all in with like what we do, right? And so it was a few years ago, and you came into my world. We have mutual friend, of course, and mutual mentor, Amy Porterfield, and that's really where I first discovered you and I was learning from you, and I was like, she's got that space, like. I would love to teach people to do that. I would love to do that, but she's got that space. And I remember feeling like it was like, that's okay. Well, that's taken care of. So I gotta keep going this way. And then I remember you and I connected further, and we had a meeting one time, a Zoom meeting to get to know each other. And I remember you were like, you're like, I just don't really believe in competition because there's so many people to help and to serve, and the more helping each other helps us help other people. And I remember you kind of like, you didn't give me permission because you weren't doing that. You didn't even look at it that exactly. But you said just the right things to make me like, it took this huge, like, it lifted something off of me. I was like, okay, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go all in. And she's not going to think that I'm copying her or anything like that. Because I had that little fear, right? And then that was probably a year and a half to almost 2 years ago. And I really started leaning into this live video space and really started seeing results for, the results, like, analytics, I guess you could call them. But really the emotional results for me, getting to know people's names, like people's names when they show up and I see their YouTube handle, but I know their name, right? And you get to know your audience. And a lot of these people here today are actually coming from you as well, because then you put me in your show and it was like I had this massive impact. Yeah. And so it's kind of interesting because I always had that fear of like that thing, right? And then now it's just totally different. So, and I think that just we can all create our own version of what we're doing and we can help people in our own way. And I've always loved that you have always made that so clear and so comfortable for anyone that you work with. So thank you.
Anyway. And can I tap into that for a second? Because when I first met you through the work that we were doing with Amy Porterfield, there was this magical girl. Like I kept like, who is she? Like, I kept thinking I was missing something because this girl is on fire. She's like, this personality is through the roof. And I was like, she must be more famous than she lets on to be, because she's something. Like, and so I was just like, what am I missing? Because, I didn't necessarily see it reflected in the follower count.
The numbers,
right?
Absolutely.
Which is what we always look at first, unfortunately.
Of course.
But I was like, who is she? And so then as we started to get to know each other, the person that I knew behind the scenes is just a firecracker wasn't really necessarily reflected in the content until you dove into the thing that really drove you in passion. Mm-hmm. And that was that focus into live. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, there's that connection. Like, I see the person I know behind the scenes with the person showing up on camera, because she's really leaning into that. So I just give you a shout out there, because I think it's important when you find that right thing for you, that's when everything kind of comes up. And I know I've already used the word magic, but I don't know what else to use.
I think that's actually a big thing that I've been speaking to a lot in this last year is, if you're going to be in business, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to have fun. You have to find those things that are fun for you, because there are so many things that we do or that we have to do, especially as we're scaling and growing, that isn't really necessarily fun, right? Like, it's not there's a lot of things that we have to do that just we don't enjoy. So when you have to make it fun. You have to find a way. And you're right. I remember I have my two really close business friends who my audience knows, Heather Sager and Crystal Profit. Mm-hmm. And they were a kind of part of that journey with me. And it was like, they saw it too. They're like, you're just lit up. You're having fun. You're excited. It's just so different. And so, you have to lean into those things. And for me, I love using live video. I love tinkering with live video. You know me, I like to stretch the limits as far as I can go.
You've taught me some things.
with the thing. So, but I really wanted to have you on the show today because, one, it was just kind of like that thing. It's like, oh my gosh, we've got to do this. And I really want, my audience to hear from you, because so what I've seen you do is, obviously you have this massive background. Like, I only know half of it, I feel like, but you are a big deal. You are you have all this history, all these amazing people, but you really leaned into live video. But you also, I think similarly, have seen these really cool results of your community, by the way. Like, you are like, you have this amazing community, and you do the live every day in April and the live every day in August things, where that's really where I saw a whole different kind of element of how you can help and coach people. But you use live video because, and you help these other people do the same thing. And so you've seen so many people, you've seen live video impact your own audience, but you've seen how others can actually make a massive impact using live video. So I really wanted to have you come on and just kind of talk about how that happened and why you feel like, live video, what is different about it, and talk about that sparkle effect that can happen.
So I think, the normal thing that we always talk about when it comes to why live video is important is that connection with the community, right? It is the most raw human form of content you can create. Because if you think about it, we've got text blogs, and those are super beneficial. Each kind of content is really beneficial for the type it is. But in terms of connection, you've got blogs with text, and that's, you can't see or hear somebody. You can only read their words, and there can be a lot of personality and kind of connection there, but you take it a step further with audio podcasts, then you take it a step further with video, and then live video. And each step along the way, you're really seeing a massive increase in the ability to connect with another human being, from the voice to seeing the eyes to having a conversation, right? So each step along the way is giving you even bigger benefits. Now, there's a place and a time for each type of those pieces of content, but why I love live video so much is the ability to hear from people on a more raw level, to have that conversation. But also, the thing that people don't really talk about is it makes you better at everything you do. So when you embrace live video, it teaches you how to think on the fly, which you need as an entrepreneur, right? It teaches you how to handle things when they go wrong, which is great for you in all aspects of tech, regardless if you're talking about building your WordPress blog or if you're talking about live video tech, right? Like, once you learn how to handle things on the fly, how to release your personality, and how to connect with people on a human level through the camera and through conversation, all of that makes you better at life in general and in your business. So it has served me so well throughout the years in just making me better at everything.
I love that you said that, because that is one of those things that I say all the time, because I've experienced that. And I always say, like, live video is, I don't want to scare anyone. It's not hard, but it's not simple sometimes. And it can be simple, or you can level up and go. And the more you do that, you do run into these I just have learned so much about so much because the way I've, embraced live video. And so you're right. And it makes you savvier from a tech standpoint, which you can apply to so many places. Whether you want to launch a podcast. I mean, if you can do live video, you can do a podcast. You have basically the equipment you need. So I love the versatility of it all, and the way it can all be repurposed, and just, there's so much there, but it does, you're right. It makes you better. And I love what Kevin said. He said, it makes you better at everything you do. Very insightful. Totally agree.
So my new M1 Mac just arrived.
Just now?
Yes, I just heard it.
Go get it. Go get it.
It's okay.
Speaking of tech, don't you love that? My friend James Hicks, he will literally sometimes be on street, and he will the Amazon delivery will happen like when he's like on live or something, and that happens to him all the time. So it's really funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, that was actually cute. Hold on. It was like, we got it. Go get it. No. So when it comes to, I want you to talk a little bit about that, the leveling up aspect, right? Because one of the things that I do think that, people can go live, and anyone can grab their phone and go live on Facebook. I mean, we all have that capability. If you want to go live, on YouTube, you would, need a certain level of followers to use your phone, but you can also use applications like we are today. We're using StreamYard today. We are multi-streaming. So you've seen the world of live video kind of evolve from, you had to kind of be techie, you had to have some certain software and gear and things, and it was kind of cumbersome, to now it's like, it's right at our fingertips. I mean, I always joke, if you have a mouse, you can make some pretty amazing live videos, right? So CK said, oh, the new M1 is it lime green? That's funny.
No.
So yeah, talk about that a little bit, about people, how I think that a lot of people don't realize how achievable it is to actually go create professional live videos. And I know that's a big part of what you do, and how you help people too. But talk a little bit about that.
And I think it's important to speak to the past, because it does present a different, when you're just coming into this space, as most people are, you see the hurdles. Well, coming from my perspective, doing this for 15 years, I see what you just said, the how non-hurdle it is. That's not a good phrase grammatically, but whatever.
Well, we're going to go with it. It's okay.
I just make up words and phrases.
I know. I love it when you do.
So when I got started, the ability to go live was either from the phone with a very exclusive phone that you had to order and it was expensive, or from the computer, which you had to buy a separate system altogether. There's no using your Mac in the olden days, and I'm old, but it's.
I'm older than you, by the way. Did you know that?
Are you like a year?
I'm 41. You're not 41 yet.
I'm 40. I'm going to turn 41 in January.
So, yep. Okay. Yep. I'm older than you. Okay, sorry. Proceed, please.
So back in the day, it costs 10 to 25 to 30K just to invest in the computer, not even the cameras and all of that other stuff. So it has come, like you said, dramatic. It has come so far, and it's a dramatic difference. And so I just want to point that out because it is super accessible to you. All you need is a mindset that is capable of, right? So you can do it very simply, very easily, and you can level up over time. It is really important to not get into the mode of perfectionism, and that's one of the things that I love about you, Mel, is how you're just willing to like hack through it and do it regardless. And it's like you guys need to listen and watch what Mel does, because so many people wait for all of the fancy tech to be able to invest in the camera and the lights and the computer and all of the things, and then they're going to go live. But when you do that, you actually ruin your chances of being able to be fully yourself on camera, because you're losing months potentially of time learning how to just talk to the audience and how to multitask.
Yeah. And it's true. And I think people hear that a lot. We hear that a lot as if you're, a budding entrepreneur, or if you're in business, that every successful business person, entrepreneur, they all say the same thing. The successful people are the ones that get started. Yeah. They don't overthink it. They let go of perfectionism, and they just keep moving. And so we hear it all the time. But I always say, like, I have this, motto that, you can't wait for the courage. You have to take action, because it's actually the action that makes you more confident, the action that makes you more comfortable, the action that gives you the courage. And so just step into it. So just as, that's what I've done. I've just stepped into it. And it was like, keep watching and keep looking at others like Luria and see what's possible, what you can do. But then know that, hey, I'm okay. It's okay to be where you are. Yeah. And you will get to a place that you want to get to. You may never get to a certain, level. You may never have 3 cameras hooked up like I do today. That's fine. But learn and know where you can grow and where you can go, because as Luria said, I love that you said that, because it's true. It's like, just get into it and just keep going, because you will actually be able to stretch and to level up and to get more comfortable. And there's so many benefits that come from that. There truly are. And I will tell you, writing a blog post, recording a podcast, and you know how much I hate pre-recorded video, but to be honest with you, if you can do live video, you can do anything. I always tell people
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's so true. And I think one of the big missing pieces with all of this is that people put way too much weight on the tech. This is what my business is about, is the tech, but it's not just about that, right? And there is an absolute benefit to having something that looks good and professional, and you can have the graphics on screen, from the instant credibility that it gains you, because people's brain is just automatically giving you trust subconsciously. So there's that instant credibility that happens when you do invest in some higher tech. But there's also the retention, keeping people's attention, because when you switch scenes and when you switch cameras and you have something on screen, it does help from a retention standpoint. But at the end of the day, I know people who are multi-million-dollar businesses who are raw and from no tech perspective, right? Mm-hmm. And so at the same time, it's really the strategy behind the tech that is going to give you the full benefit of having that tech. So way too often, this mistake I see just it drives me insane, that people put so much weight behind only the tech, right? Mm-hmm. It's a balancing act. But at the end of the day, the strategy side of connection with your community and knowing what content to create and how to put that out into the world effectively is going to be what actually makes a big difference for you.
Yeah. And Robin's Blue Egg, I always do this. I always say Robin's Blue Egg Creations, and she knows it, but it's Robin's Egg Blue Creations. She said, I wasted years thinking I needed specific equipment, software, and loads of courage. I'm kicking myself for the time wasted. So imagine, if you get started today, you're not going to be perfect or even good, right? And so I even have a podcast episode where I basically say, just go into it knowing it's going to suck for a little bit. Like you're going to be kind of sucky. You're not going to be awesome just yet, but you have to kind of suck first. You won't be terrible. Nothing's terrible. Sitting and doing nothing is terrible. And so, the sooner you get going with the crappy, the better it gets later, right?
Exactly.
So,
And I will say this, don't be hard on yourself. Like Mel said, just take the action. And one of our students, she knew that she needed to go live for a year before she actually went live. Her business, once she went live, grew by 30% that year.
Yeah.
So she could sit there and say, and I always say, what if you had started a year before? Where would your business be now?
Right.
But at the end of the day, you can't take back the past. So you are where you are, and you are right where you need to be. And that is so vital to not beat yourself up mentally and just say, all right, I've got this community of people who are going to support me in this process. Mel is going to support you in this process. I'm here. You've got the support you need. So just start taking that action.
Yeah, I love that. And speaking of, you talked about, I want to make sure everybody knows that Luria's, her YouTube channel is at Live Streaming Pros. You must subscribe to that channel. I mean, it's a library of knowledge. I mean, it is like a library of no matter what phase you're in. And that's what I love about your content. And as you talked about the strategy, because, you can be fancy all you want. You can have everything you want. You can have lights, you can have all the stuff. But if your content isn't aligned with you, if it's not aligned with your audience, if you don't have that strategy, what are you going to do with, okay, you're going live. But what are we doing about that? What are we doing with that? How are you making money? How is that going to serve you? So there is a much bigger picture thing that you are so great at helping people with. And I just want to make sure everybody knows, if you're not already subscribed, which half the people in the comments already are, I guarantee they are. I know they are. Just make sure you are. And so because there are Luria was talking about retention just yesterday. She did this whole it was like a workshop or a class, but it's in her free content on retention. And I learned a lot in that. There was a lot there. So definitely so much to learn from Luria when it comes to really, and that's where I'm starting to see you shift as you're really getting into this, more of the strategy, more of the, hey, let's make sure all this stuff matters. You're creating live videos. Yeah, you got the fancy camera, but let's make sure it all matters. Let's make sure that it's serving you in your business, right? So
there's one thing that drives me insane is just action with no results and no benefit at the end of the day. Because if I look at my 15-year career so far, coming up on 16 years in a month, I'm only here because I focused on those things, right? Where people drop off and people get burned out is that they're not getting results from the things that they're doing and spending their time and money on. So
yeah, that's a great segue into what I want to make sure everybody knows about. So this is I'm super excited about this for a lot of reasons, but. So you have been seeing this. I also want to mention the Lita thing really quick. So what Luria does, everybody, is she teaches people how to level up their live videos, she's got every tech thing you ever need. Me talking about the cam link, she's got a whole video on capture cards. She can teach you everything. But where I really saw this whole other side of you that I didn't even, I knew it was there, of course, but it was I didn't get to witness it, was when you did live every day in April of last year, which I think was the second or third time you had done it. And you did live every day in August again. But when I saw this side of you where you were every single day, you showed up and you gave everybody a prompt, you gave everybody an assignment, but you were deep. You were deep in the community, deep in this challenge. And it was you were giving this level of coaching from you I had never seen in your content. And so it was literally this, if you want to go get coached and get some life coaching, but also some video coaching and some personal branding coaching, but also just get confident with video, that I literally was blown away at the depth that you went with that strategy, but also just that personal kind of deep stuff that happens inside. So I saw this whole new side of you where I was whoa, like beyond the tech, right? Like, let's
Yeah,
get
way
deep with
beyond the
Luria.
tech, yeah.
Like, literally, I'm like, Luria needs a podcast. It's called Getting Deep with Luria Petrucci or something. I don't know. But you got deep. Like, there was like people were crying. People were like having like, I mean, it was a big deal. And I
Not to
remember
scare you off, but if you're not crying in the first week of Lita, then I'm doing something wrong.
you're not trying. You're not following Luria's assignments. I mean, it's like deep stuff, but that's because you have all this like experience with so many things. And I remember thinking like, Luria has to do something bigger. She has to do something bigger to just make this big impact. And your content kind of took a shift last year. Your videos are amazing. I love your videos. And like they just changed. Like you are sparkling and everything. But you a couple weeks ago told me about you're putting on an event. And you're hosting your own event. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. So yes, I want to make sure everybody knows about this because everything Luria was just talking about, making sure that your business is serving you, making sure that your content is aligned with yourself, but also how can you stretch that content? How can you get results? How can you actually make money? And so I want you to talk about the event that you have going up. I'm going to bring up a screen so that everyone can see about this. But first, why did you decide to do this event in the first place?
Well, so a concept of doing a virtual event has been, a point of conversation for my community for a long time. But we had plans at the beginning of this year, and then my year kind of shifted and changed from what I expected, and so I kind of lost sight of it. And then we were having another conversation around it, and I was like, you know what? I am bucking against doing this event because I don't want people to just learn a bunch of information and then just move on with their life, right? And forget what they learned. If I'm going to do an event, it is going to be action oriented and we are going to accomplish something by the end of it. So internally, we had a lot of conversations around how can we make this happen so that it's not just a fire hose of information with amazing speakers, by the way. Like I'm super
we're gonna get there.
Speakers.
We're gonna get there. I'm blown away.
But it was really important to me to make sure that people started off 2022 correctly, and by correctly I mean making their own personal decisions about what they need to focus on in 2022. Oftentimes at the beginning of the year, you're hearing a whole bunch of people say like, this is the thing that's going to work for 2022. This is the thing, right? And so then you're like, well, where do I spend my time? I'm going to try and do this and this and this and this. And yes, we're going to have a variety of types of information there, but what I'm going to be, my mission is throughout the summit is to make sure that you know what you need to focus on, right? And making those decisions along the way so that you have an action plan for the year for any video content. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a YouTuber, a video creator of any kind and on any platform, this is going to really set you up for success. So it's a 3-day live event and we have some surprises that we haven't even announced yet. So yeah, it's just going to be, I'm super proud of it because I didn't want to do something that everybody else was doing.
Yeah, and I've heard you say that as you've been, announcing this summit and that's the thing, you guys, how many of you have been to a conference or an event? And I want to know in the comments, how many times have you gone to a conference or an event or even maybe done a virtual one and it was like a bunch of rah and it was exciting and yes, you loved being in it, and there was a lot of energy, and then you came home and you either had conference hangover, meaning not hangover from cocktails, which happens as well, meaning hangover from like all that energy, all that knowledge.
Yeah.
And then you literally sit down and you're like, what am I supposed to do with it? Like, then you don't actually apply anything. I love conferences and I love events, but it's honestly pretty rare that I think people literally walk away or leave it with an action plan that they actually implement. And I know that you are so big on this. You're so big on this in your content. You're so big on this in everything you do. So I literally, when you said you were doing this, and I was like, yes, because if somebody like Luria Petrucci is going to put on a conference, there's going to be so much massive value, but also applicable knowledge that you can apply in your business. Now, before we talk about the speakers, tell me who this is for. Is this for somebody? What if somebody's never created content before? Or what if somebody's been creating content for years? Like talk about who this is for and how you've designed it.
Yeah, so if you scroll down to the next section there, this is actually so if you are just getting started, your brain is going to be opened up to a lot of different possibilities, right? So if you're just kind of trying to figure out all of this stuff, you're going to be able to, in day one, discover a lot of different options. If you've been doing this a while and you already have results and you want to level up, then your day one in the discover process is going to be a little bit more choosy about like, okay, I'm hearing this, but how can I adapt it to what already is working? And how can I make that a piece of my content so that I can level up, right? And so and I'll be talking about this during the summit, but like, whether you're just starting or you want to level up what is already working, you just need to look at it a little differently in each piece of that mentality, right? So day one, we're looking at possibilities of like what is working, what's out there as a possibility. And then in day two, we're really focusing on development, which is more nitty gritty. That's the word I was looking for. The nitty gritty of the strategy side of things. So like, how can you get a little deeper with some of this information? And then day three is all about delivering, making sure that you aren't trying to hold off until it's perfect, and optimization. And how can you make that thing that you are putting out there work better? So it's really about these three different kind of stages that you go through as a content creator of any kind, and understanding how to discover what's working, what you want to actually implement in your business, then developing, and not necessarily, we're not like taking the same information and then developing, right? I want to be clear about that, but it is about looking at that nitty gritty and then going into that optimization and pushing that content out there process. So you're gonna really, I think, that's my expectation, and my goal is to make sure that you feel like you have accomplished something. And so by the end of it, you'll break down your own personalized action plan, because we're going to walk you through stages. And this comes from my personal experience at in-person conferences. I've been to a lot of them over the years.
Yeah.
And there's a process that I go through when I'm learning at conferences, and that I recommend to anybody who's going to a conference, first time, because there is so much information. So I'm going to walk you through my processes that I've tweaked over the last 15 years of going to conferences and events. And so then you have that action plan. And to answer
typical Tyreek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely some networking opportunities as well, especially if you're in the all access pass, because we're going to have some additional things going on for those people.
Sweet. And I will let everybody know that Luria is offering an early bird discount. Of course, that expires here in a little, 7 days or something. So
yeah, it expires on November 30th. So end of Cyber Monday.
End of the Cyber Monday. So, and the link to this event so that you guys can get to that is in the description of where you're watching this video. So just get up there into the description. You will see a link. That is actually my personal affiliate link that I have as well. So yeah. And
I would encourage you to use Mel's link if you're watching right now, because that's a way that you can support her in addition to yourself, so that she gets that credit as well.
Thanks. My audience knows I'm not great at asking for things like that. So I'm working on that, which is actually, let's talk about some of these speakers, because oh my gosh, I mean, come on.
You had Amy on your show.
Look at this, you guys. Look at these people. First of all, I love
I know,
Harris
right?
Heller. I absolutely,
he's amazing.
I love him. My audience, many times I play Harris Heller's Stream Beats music, which is, of course, copyright-free music, royalty-free music. I love him. I learned so much from him, as well as you and other people. But of course, our girl, Amy Porterfield.
That's how we met.
I know. And here's the thing, everybody. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I actually texted Luria and I was like, whoa, you've been working on this. And she's like, well, we kind of like, like she said earlier, she's like, I actually just a few weeks ago just kind of started. I'm like, okay, well, that goes to show that Luria knows how to keep good company. These people, the fact that she's able to line up these speakers that fast, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. So talk about some of these speakers and what they're going to be talking about.
Sure. Yeah. And I just want to say, like, these people are, all of them are mostly old time friends for me, or fairly new friends. And I just am so thankful that they are willing to support this effort and share the information that they have in their brains with you guys. They've all been incredibly generous. So we've got, sessions on, So live video and recorded video together is some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about with Pat Flynn, because he actually went live for 365 days and learned some lessons that I don't think he's shared publicly.
Wow.
And so I'm going to be talking to him about what he learned and what he stopped doing with live video and what he did instead, right? And how those two things work together for him. Amy Porterfield is going to be talking about live for launches. As you know, live is a massively big thing for her.
Oh, yeah.
And this is from somebody who didn't want to be on camera in the first
place.
Right?
She hated live video. And it's true. Amy has had a lot of success in her course launches using live video too. And I know I'm excited to hear from that because I think that so many people need to hear how to actually not just go live to just go live, but actually use it in a way like she did to promote something. So it's going to be cool.
And she doesn't even use it like I suggest using it, which so that's really good. Like there's going to be some really cool things. Yeah. So Harris is definitely going to be talking about copyright-free music, right? Kenya Kelly, you may or may not know her, but TikTok. So we definitely wanted to have some TikTok representation here. And she talks about how to actually make money from TikTok. Thomas Frank, productivity. He's like, I don't know, like 2 something million or
he's huge.
So he's big on YouTube. And he's an amazing guy, really genuine guy, and he's going to be helping you take care of yourself so that your business can thrive, right? Roberto will be talking about the creator economy, of course.
Yes.
Molly's going to be talking about doing it imperfectly and how she switched imperfectly from Facebook to YouTube when Facebook went down for those 6 hours, those infamous 6 hours this year.
Those were long 6 hours.
I know. When I said 6 hours, like, was it just 6?
I know. It felt like 2 days. I know. Yeah.
Renee Ritchie, going to be talking about the tweaking process and the testing process, which is really important because you do hear all of these strategies and you need to figure out what works for your audience and for your channel, because what works for my channel is not necessarily the same exact strategy that's going to work for yours. So you're going to learn from Renee how he tests things and how he evolves and continues to push out new strategies. So really powerful stuff. We're going to be talking about review. If you want to learn how to actually make a business out of review products. So Epos Fox, Gerald Undone, like 2 incredible people, right?
And I know a lot of people in my audience are doing reviews or reviews of some sort, and like taking things that we do and talk about and the things we use, whether it be if you're a crafter and you're making things, like reviewing the supplies, reviewing these things from these brands. I know I can't wait to learn about some of those things as well, because I really want to get more involved with that too. So
well, and that's the thing is a lot of people don't know how to start, but also once they're doing it, they do it incorrectly. And I hate the word correct or incorrect.
Sure.
Because there's the magic that goes into it, right? But when it comes to like doing reviews, you can lose your reputation, you can lose your audience, you can lose your relationships with companies if you don't do it correctly. And there are some very hard and fast rules around these this kind of business or content. So Dave Wiskus, you don't know his face probably, but his company Standard represents MKBHD, Epos and Thomas Frank, and a whole lot of other top YouTubers. And he's going to be talking about sponsorships. So this is a big E for all content creators. Even if you sell your own products, I sell my own products, I have my own services and courses and all of that, but still I run sponsorships on the content because it is another diversified form of income. And sponsorships are also something that come with a lot of questions for people. How much do I charge? How do I find sponsors? And so he's going to be talking through that. The amount of data from his company that he has in his brain just blows my mind every time I talk to him, because they work with so many different ones. And more importantly, the thing that he's focused on, other than a lot of other, agency models or MCN models, is that he requires data from the sponsors, right? And so you don't get to sign up if you don't offer the data back to the creator so that they know what's working and what's not working, so that it can be more effective for the sponsorship.
Mutually beneficial relationship.
Yes,
absolutely. I love that. I love that.
I mean, gosh, we just got so many. I don't want to go through every session.
I know, we can't.
But it's
and
just
you and you and I have to figure out what I'm going to talk about, which is one of the things I'm super honored is that I am part of this amazing lineup. And so, I'm so excited to be involved in this event for lots of reasons, but I'm also excited to learn at this event. But I wanted, I definitely think that you have I love your lineup because it is so diversified in regards to experience, the content that's going to be delivered here. So you're all going to Luria's going to take very good care of you. And so, I'm really, really, really excited about this. I know Stephanie Liu, for example, she's going to talk about repurposing content.
Absolutely.
That is huge. I think that is such an important.
It's not even something I do very well.
Same. I really know what we should be doing. I don't necessarily do it. I mean, I'm not necessarily going to lead by example, but that, for example, is going to be amazing. And I know you're going to have Owen video on there talking about getting vulnerable and without being too vulnerable and letting people in, and because he's been going through a lot of personal stuff, of course. But it's going to be an amazing event. But again, here are your prices, everyone, that you can see. Now you're getting a discount with this early bird special. So, I mean, you're going to get so much information. And as Luria said, you're going to literally walk away with your own personalized action plan that you're going to be able to develop from all of these sessions. Now, talk to me about the differences between, are there any sessions that are exclusive maybe to the all access versus something else? Is there anything? I just want to make sure everybody knows how to determine which pass is right for them. Get the all access.
You're getting into some things that
Just
we haven't
get the all
announced
access,
yet, but-
everybody.
So the standard ticket comes with the live sessions and the breakout sessions that will help you kind of network and get to know people and start to think about the content and what you want to do with it. Of course, you get the virtual goodie bag and the opportunity to win some prizes. But then the all access comes with replays and also ask me anything sessions, right? So Q&As with some of the speakers. You get more opportunities to win prizes, so you get that extra benefit. But also, I gotta say, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this out loud or not, but I will say, we haven't sold a single standard pass every single person.
Well, I mean, it's a heck of a deal. It really is a heck of a deal. Yeah, and I know it's your first event. I'm sure that the next time you do one of these things, it's going to be a lot more expensive because it is a lot. I'm telling you, I have been to events where many of these speakers are there, and I never paid that price. So this is the time. This is an opportunity to get your hands on some amazing information and content, but also not be overwhelmed. And again, as Luria said, it's going to be, I just trust you. And that's what I wanted to make sure I really reiterated, is that you're going to put on an amazing conference. You've been to conferences, you've been to good, bad, terrible, great.
Yes.
And so and you also understand the way that people need to be able to process this information and to apply it. And that is one of the things that I have seen you do in action inside of your membership program, the Streamer Accelerator program. You literally are like an implementation coach. You help people actually do things and take action, which is very different than most of the people that we are learning from online. And so I have no doubt that your conference is going to be structured no differently, and people are going to walk away with a massive amount of value and education and things that they can take with them. So I certainly am super excited about it. Well, Luria, I know that we are almost at the top of the hour, and I know you've got other things to do today. Is there anything else you wanted to share about the event that maybe we didn't talk about that you think is important to point out?
I don't know about the event. I do know about the event, but that was a weird phrase.
I knew what you meant.
I mean, I think you can dive into, the website if you're interested, and we have a chat icon. You can send us an email and ask us, any questions that you might have, or if you're on the fence or not sure if it's for you. But I would love it to see you get that early bird discount, because that is going to be the cheapest price that you can get. But I mean, I think we should turn it around and just deliver some more value real quick before we have to go, so that people are encouraged to do this, right? Mm-hmm. And live video isn't for everybody necessarily long term. There are some people who don't do live video, but I can tell you, doing live video makes you a better video creator as well. So if you're a course creator, if you're doing, oh my God, webinars, let's talk about webinars. I mean, like live video and webinars hand in hand.
Right.
So, I would just really encourage you to step over that line of uncomfortable and get to the comfortable, because you can't, like Mel was saying earlier, you can't have courage without action. So it is really important to get out of your own head and get out of your own way and just do it. And speaking of Amy Porterfield, she actually talks about, one of the things that she said in one of her speeches in the past was, it's really great to be able to do it without a whole lot of pressure of the audience paying attention to you in the early stages. So if you're there, it's great because you have one or two people watching, maybe none. So you can get used to the process, and you don't have a pressure of like 100 people watching you fall flat on your face because that's the way you feel about it, even though it's not the case.
That's a great point.
So yeah,
like do it. Like if you have a small audience now or no audience, or you're just getting started, work out those quirks and those kinks now before you're on a big stage, right? And so I do think that's a great point, and it's a reality. It's a reality of what it is. You know what I mean? And so I also I loved it. I mean, live video. If you can stretch yourself and embrace live video and, go for it, you are going to get better at so many other things, including speaking on a real stage, because there is you're going to learn how to structure your content. You're going to learn how to keep people's attention. If you keep people's attention on live video where you literally can't see their faces, then you're going to be able to keep people's attention on a stage or in a webinar or in a presentation or in an interview for a job. I mean, there's so many things here that it is going to benefit you from. And so I think that's important. But the last thing I think you should touch on before we sign off is live video has been around for a long time, as you said. And it's not going anywhere. I mean, we're seeing it evolve over on Amazon. I think I was on Wayfair looking for couches, and I saw they are starting to look at something similar, like with this live aspect. LinkedIn Live is there now. I mean, live video, it's easy to see social media trends kind of come and go. But just like podcasting, a long time ago, I remember podcasts were not that popular. Then they sort of grew. And I remember there was this trend. People were like, oh, it's already been around too long. I need to find the next new shiny thing, because by the time I get good at podcasting, it won't be a thing anymore. Look at it. It's like one of the most consumed types of content, and it's only getting bigger and growing. Live video, I think, is kind of going to fall into that same exact trend. So, I mean, it's like you said too, live video makes you better at video. Video and live video is everywhere, and it's going to continue to be that way. And so I think now's the time, like you said, to really dive in and to take it to the next level. And what better time than January of 2022 to really invest in yourself and invest in that aspect so that you can get results. Because as Luria said, the last thing we want is for you to do all this, stretch yourself, and not get results. And that can happen. It really can. So, yeah.
Perfectly.
Luria, I love you. I love you dearly. I appreciate you so much. I admire you. I'm so grateful that you came on to talk to me today and to share, how live video has impacted your business, but also your audience, and why you believe so strongly that it is the best format for us to be creating content, and how adaptable it is, and how it makes us better at other types of content as well. So it makes you a more versatile type of marketer. And so I love that you talked about those things. And of course, your live summit that's coming up, I'm so excited about it. I'm excited to be a part of it as one of your speakers. And of course,
yes, me too.
It's just going to be a good event all around, 3-day event coming up in January. So Luria, I love you dearly. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Until next time, I will see you around, my dear.
Okay.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, you guys, that was really a pretty big moment for me. I know that this isn't necessarily about me. I'm just saying that was awesome to have Luria come on the show, to take that time out of her day to be here with us. And I've learned so much from her. So much of what you see in my show and how I do what I do does come from the things I have learned from her, or the people she's exposed me to, the guests that she has on her show, the connections that she has. I didn't even know about Harris Heller, for example, until I watched her show. And I learned about Harris Heller. So then I learned about other things that Harris Heller, I learned from him. So doing this type of stuff, I'm just telling you, if you're going to learn anything from anybody, this virtual summit coming up is it. And I just am so grateful to have Luria come on the show, because again, so much of what you see, whether it be the things I'm actually doing, or actually the way I'm exploring, evolving my own live videos and my own YouTube channel and all those things, is a lot of because of what I've learned from her. And so it's a pretty fun day to have Luria on the show today. So I appreciate all of you all tuning in today and watching that. I know we had a tight timeline and we had a lot to cover, and we will do a Q&A. Of course, we'll be back for our weekly Q&A, of course, next week. But everybody, again, as I mentioned, the summit link is up in the description of where you're watching this video. That is my personal affiliate link. As a speaker, I was given this affiliate link. And so I would appreciate it if you are going to sign up and you learned about that event through here, then sign up through my link. I would appreciate it. Again, that's my affiliate link. And I do get a little commission on that just to make sure everybody knows how that works. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to work with Luria on what my session is going to be. And you'll know more as we get closer and closer to that January event. But for now, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to say, I hope you all have an amazing Thanksgiving. If you're in the United States, we are celebrating of course, Thanksgiving this week, and Black Friday deals are coming. So definitely pay attention to deals out there. This is a great time to invest in technology, invest in that camera. So go look at your Amazon account, go look at Best Buy, go look wherever you need to look, and start deciding, hey, what do I want to buy? Because I will tell you that this next 7 days essentially is probably the best time for you to go buy that camera, go buy that microphone, because it's probably on sale. I know Elgato, I think, is having like a 30% off sale. So you're going to be able to find a lot of deals out there. So spend some time, sit down. I know you probably have maybe some Christmas shopping you're going to be doing as well. But invest in yourself, invest in your business. So now is a really good time to be thinking about some of those technology, those pieces of gear that you want to get, that you've been thinking about, you've been eyeing. And so look for those Black Friday deals. They are going to be there. There are going to be a lot of great deals. And so look at all those products and all those things that you've been looking for. And now's the time to do it. Level up, invest in yourself, and do it. So I want to say hi to Typical Tyreek. You actually got to watch the show live the whole time today, so I'm so glad you did. And as CK said, have an amazing week. Safe travels, happy shopping, and for those celebrating Turkey Day, happy Thanksgiving. I couldn't say it better myself, CK. Thank you for doing that. So, all right, everyone, well, have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. See ya.